Today we are going to talk about ISA 701, which deal with key audit matters. This standard explains how auditors highlight the most important area they focus on during the audit. This matter usually involve high risk, complex judgment, or a significant estimate, and they help a user understand what really matters in the audit. That we know what this standard is about, let's understand why ISA 701 is all about. What is the main agenda of my video? I am going to explain importance, objectives, scopes, introduction, key requirement, mistakes that commonly made, exam point of view, and we will conclude our lecture with summary. Let's start our video by importance of ISA 701. In the past audit report, where every standard and look almost the same for all the companies, they do not clearly explain what the auditor actually focused on during the audit. ISA 701 improved transparency and communication. It helped the investors and other users understand the audit better and reduce the gap between the user and the expected what auditor actually do. After understanding its importance, let's move forward on the objectives. IS 701 is to identify which audit matters are usually significant and should be the report as the key audit matter, or it also guide auditor on how clearly explain these matters in audit report so user understand the major judgment, estimates complex areas clearly. Now the objective is also clear. Let's see where the standard apply. The scope of ISA 701. IS 701 applies when the auditor give an opinion on financial statement of a list company. It is also applied when law or regulation require reporting of key audit matter. This standard does not only apply in case of disclaimer of opinion. It also generally does not apply to private companies unless until required by regulators. Let's move forward. What are the key audit matters actually are? Key audit matters are selected from issues already discussed with those changes and with government changes, those charged with changes. Key audit matter are selected from issues already discussed with those changed with governance. These are matters that require significant attention from auditor. They usually related to high risk area, major judgment or a complex transaction like goodwill impact, revenue recognition or a valuation issues. See how auditor identify them. Now let's forward and see how the auditor requirement. The audit standards start by reviewing matter communication to those changes with the governance from the auditor. The auditor start by reviewing matter communication to those changes with the governance from these auditor definition method that needs significant audit attention. Auditors select the most significant matter based on risk, judgment involved, and major event or transactions that impact the audit decisions. For each key audit matter, the auditor explains why it is significant and how it will address during the audit. Refer to the financial statement disclosure are included. KAMs also represent under a separate heading called Key Audit Matters. KMS are Key Audit Matter. After the base for opinion selection, an auditor must involve new information or given separate opinions. What is not included in this standard or original information? What is not included in this standard? Original information not disclosed by the management, separate opinion on individual matters. As I mentioned earlier as well, let's move forward and see what is the relation of this standard with other standard. ISA 701 works closely with the standard like ISA 206 for the government communication and ISA 315 and 330 for the risk assessment and audit responses. It also linked with ISA 570 for going concern and ISA 705 and 706 for modification opinions and ensuring the consistency across the audit report. Now let's look at the common mistake the auditor should avoid that mostly people made. One, the, one of the common mistake is trial all the significant risk as a key audit matter. Another mistake is using genetic language that does not explain the audit work clearly. Using genetic language, genetic means unhidden, unclear information. The auditor also sometimes includes too many KMs, key audit methods, or explains management actions instead of audit procedure. KMs must always be entity specific and audit focused. For this standard is KMS must be entity. The golden rule for this standard is KMS must be entity specific and audit focused. Let's move forward and talk about what is the exam focus. Examiner often test the identifying of key audit matters and difference between KMS and empathy of matter, other matters, paragraphs, standards that is included. These also focus on applications, placement of KMS in the audit report and how professional judgment is used in selecting them. I hope that you understand. I hope you would understand. And now we will talk. Let me give a quick summary, conclusion of the topic, overview. IS 701 improved the information value of the audit report by explaining where the auditor focused most during the audit. Key audit methods do not change the audit opinion, but they improve transparency, understanding, and trust which applied correctly. With this, we conclude our discussion on ISS 701 Key Audit Matters. Thank you for listening. Take care. Allah Hafiz.